It's Miss Billman again, and this time it's the Unit 6 Lesson 4 homework. Sit back and relax. This is kind of a long video, but finding volume sometimes takes some calculations, and especially on a separate sheet of paper. We're going to write the numerical expression for the volume, and then we're going to calculate it. We can write this two ways. Volume equals length times width times height, or base times height. Base being multiplying the length and the width together, finding that product, then multiplying by the height. So I'm going to shade in the base, and that is 1/4, 3/4, multiplied by 4/5, which equals 12/20. So the volume would be 12/20 multiplied by 2/3. That'd be the expression. So when I actually do that, I get 24/60, and the number that can go into both evenly is 12. So then it would end up being 2/5 as a final answer. So 2/5 feet cubed, or cubic feet. We're going to do the same thing for number 2 and number 3, looking at the base and then taking that product and multiplying by the height, which you're really already doing when you multiply length times width. So I put these in a improper fraction, 9/4, and we multiply it by the width, and then we'll take that product and get another product when we multiply it by the height. So 45/12 multiplied by 4/5. Well, I know the bottom, the denominator, will be 60. I know that because 12 multiplied by 5 is 60. And 4 times 5 is 20, carry the 2. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 is 18, 180/60. Well, I can even look at those numbers without the zeros, knowing that 6 can go into 8 3 times, so it'd be 3 inches cubed because of 60 and 80. So, number 3. I end up making this 5/2, and I multiply that by 4/1, which equals 20 seconds, which is 10, obviously, and I multiply that by 3.5. So I multiply my 10 by 7 seconds. So I end up getting 70/2. I just divide that in half and get 35 feet cubed for my volume. Now, this would actually probably be a really good time to do these on a separate piece of paper, just to have room. Sorry, my writing is so small in here. This time I have paper to do the work on, because these ones we're looking for an unknown dimension. So it could possibly be the volume, it could be the length, it could be the width, it could be the height. So this requires a little bit more thinking. This one I have all three: length times width times height. So I can set this up finding the volume. So that would be 7 seconds, that would be 4/3, and then 3/4. I pick my first two, find the product, and then multiply the height. So 9 seconds, because it's 4.5. 9 times 4 is 36. 2 times 3 is 6. Multiply that by 3. 3 times 6 is 18. Carry the 1. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10/24. When I try to think of numbers, I could start with 2. I could do 3 as well, but I'm just going to straight up try 24 and into 108. I'm going to say 4 times, thinking about quarters. 4 times 4 is 16, carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. I subtract and I get 12. Well, this worked out perfectly, because 4 and 12/24 is just like saying 4.5. So the volume on this would be 4.5 inches cubed. For 5 and 6, we're actually finding part of the expression. Like, we're given the volume, but we need to find either the length or the height. This should be familiar from Unit 5 with our expressions and equations, where we're trying to find the total for something. So 25 3/5 is equal to length times width times height. In this case, we have a missing length, so it's 3 1/5 multiplied by 2.5. I will be turning these into improper fractions. So it's length multiplied by 5 times 3 is 15 plus 1 is 16 fifths. Multiplied by 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5 seconds. I multiply those straight across, and I get 6 times 5 is 30, carry the 1. We then get 63 over 10. And you can see me, I already said, oh, I messed up. Yep, there's my 6 times 5 is 30. And there, now I totally messed up. Yep, it's 80. Sorry, now I'm trying to do mental math during this. Length is equal to 80 tenths, which, weird, that equals 8. So now I need to write this as 25 times 5 is 125 plus 3 is 128 over 5 is equal to length times 8. I do the opposite to find the answer, so I divide by 8 to get my L all alone. When I divide, I'm really flip it, change it, multiply. So it's 128 over 5 multiplied by 1/5. 128 multiplied by 1 is 128. 5 times 8, is 40. Now I'm going to see how many times 4 can go in there. Now I know 4 can go in there. 40 can go in there 3 times because 4 can go into 12 3 times. And I have 8 left over. A number that can go into both of 8 and 40 is 8. So I get 3 1/5 yards cubed. Or actually, never mind. I don't even get yards cubed because I'm just finding length. So I get 3 1/5 yard. We're going to go through the same process for our next question. I'm just folding over my paper so I have enough room to write on. My length is 6 feet. My width is 3.5 feet. I do not know my height, but I do know my volume is 49 feet cubed. So I set this up, and just to see, 49 is equal to 6 over 1 multiplied by 7 over 2 times my height. So I go straight across. 6 times 7 is 42 over 2 times my height. 49 is equal to, well, I could make this smaller, 21 times h. I divide my 21 out because I'm doing the opposite, inverse operations. And 21 can go into 49. It's going to have a fraction or a decimal point 2. That is 42. I get 7 left over. So I could say 7 or 2 and 7/21, or I could say 7 1/3, or 2 1/3. Oh my gosh, 2 1/3 feet for my height. When I multiply my height, my length, my width, my height, I would be able to get 49, and that'd be a good way to check your answer. This one we're going back to basics with length times width times height. 4.6 multiplied by 3.4 multiplied by 2.5 is equal to volume. So I stack mine on top and I put 3.4 under, 24, carry the 2, 16, 18, 0, 18, carry the 1, 13. Add it up. 4, 16, carry the 1, 5, and 1. I need to move 2 decimal points over, and now I multiply by 2.5. 2.5, there it is, 20. Carry the 2. 30 plus 2 is 32. Put down the 2. Carry the 3. 25 plus 3, 28. Carry the 2. 5 and plus 2 is 7. Put down my place holding 0. 2 times 4 is 8. 6 times 2 is 12. Carry the 1. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 1 is 11. Carry the 1. 2, 1 is 2. Plus 1 is 3. Add it up again. So 0, 10. I then carry the 1 is 11. Carry the 1. 9. Hopefully. But now I need to move my decimal point 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. I get a final answer of, I could even say 39.1. as my answer because those zeros, although I could have like an infinity of them, they really don't change anything. A rectangular storage container has a base that measures 1.2 meters by 3 meters and is 2.4 meters high. What is the volume? So I multiply 1.2 by 3. And I get 3.6. I take my 3.6, multiply by 2.4. 24, carry the 2. 12 plus 2, 14. Put down a 0. 2 times 2 times 6 is 12. Carry the 1. And then I get a 7. 4, 6, 8. I have to move 2 decimal places over for a final answer of 8.64 meters cubed. Make a line for some room for my work. A sandbox is 3 feet by 4 feet by 6 inches tall. How many cubic feet of sand does the sandbox hold? That 6 inches tall is just like saying like half of a foot. So I do 3 times 4, which is 12. These are dealing with feet. But my 12, I have to multiply by a different number. I'm going to use half because 6 inches is half of a foot. So my final answer is 6. We're going to say 6 feet cubed. But if I would have just multiplied by 6, I would get a totally different answer. That is not correct. A lunchbox has a volume of 221 inches cubed. The height is 4 inches and the width is 6.5 inches. What is the length? So I need to multiply my height and my width together. So 4 over 1 multiplied by 13 over 2. This is just how I do this. I feel more comfortable working with improper fractions. 4 multiplied by 13 is equal to 12. 52 over 2. So when I have 52 over 2, which ends up being 26, something times 26 equals 221. I divide my 26 out. How many times can 26 go into 221? Well, you're going to see me like try to write this as small as possible. I have to think of 26 kind of like 25. Well, how many times would 25 go in there? I'm going to go with 8 because I know 9 would be too much. So 6 times 8 is 48. 8 times 2 is 16 plus 4 is 20. I subtract it out. I have to borrow. I get an answer of 8 and 13/26, which totally works out because 13/26 is 1/2. So 8 and 1/2 inches would be the length. You can totally use math from previous units to help you out on this one. You can do it.